So guys, I just checked out the new Netflix film Hitman, which has been getting a lot of buzz lately, which is why I want to check it out. And man, what little you might have seen or heard of this film before, I assure you this is not the movie you think it is.
My name is Gary Johnson, and my simple question for you is, who is your hitman? We'll see.
Hitman is a film about a mild-mannered professor moonlighting as a fake contract killer who sparks a chain reaction of trouble when he falls for a client. This film is directed by Richard Linklater, who's also directed films like School of Rock, Dazed and Confused, and Boyhood, to name a few. And while this film Hitman is very comparable to a film like School of Rock, which is to say you have a character who's pretending to be someone he's not for his own benefit, but kind of grows and develops as a character as a result of that over the course of the film. In terms of substance, the film is more comparable to Richard Linklater's other film, Bernie, which is to say that this film, like Bernie, is a film on the surface, a very quirky, funny film that in reality is actually a twisted, dark comedy with deep psychological themes. Hitman specifically, and this is what I really liked about this film and what Richard Linklater did, is that this film has very deep psychological themes of ID and ego, which if you don't know what ID and ego are, ID and ego really just refers to the conscious and your unconscious parts of your personality that make you you. And sort of the balance of those two things, or the imbalance of it even. And Richard Linklater, what he does is that he takes these very deep, complex psychological concepts, but he masks it in a very accessible, fun comedy romance film, even if it's dark comedy, which I think that's what great filmmaking is. Because, you know, these concepts, it could have easily lended itself to a very experimental art house film, inaccessible, which is fine, but then you run the risk of it being very pretentious. But really good filmmaking is, you know, taking very deep subtext like this, but then having the text on top of that be something that a mass audience can actually really engage with, which Hitman totally does that. And so I give major props and credit to that, and I think it just further proves the talent of Richard Linklater as a filmmaker, who I think is really a working class filmmaker, you know, in terms of the type of films he makes and how and the visual language he uses. And given those themes that I was talking about, that really requires an actor who has a lot of range and subtlety to pull this off. And frankly, with Glen Powell, I was very doubtful going in. I like him before, but he kind of just seemed like a pretty boy. But I was totally wrong. In this film, he really pulls it off. He really has this dynamic range and subtlety. He convincingly plays this very meek, mild, and nerdy college professor who wouldn't hurt a fly, but who has to put on these fake personalities of a hitman to help the police catch suspects. And he has to keep up this fake personality when one of these suspects he kind of falls in love with, and he still wants to remain close with her. And then you start to see both his meek personality and hitman personality start to blend into each other over the course of the film and his day-to-day life. With the meek and mild personality being the conscious part of himself, and the ruthless, charismatic personality being the unconscious part of his personality. And yeah, Glen Powell, I'm an official fan of his now for this film because he was really good. He was stellar. There were so many aspects of the different type of personalities he was doing in this film, both colorful and nuanced. And I thought he got A plus in all of those portrayals. And he really brings the script to life. Which, speaking of the script, I thought the script was rock solid. It's a very fresh, creative story with very compelling characters who really aren't good people, but the talent behind the writing of the script as well as the direction, it does make you root for these characters who really are bad people, but you root for them and you can't help but be sympathetic towards them and you want them to win, and that's good writing. I don't know what to tell you. And it's sad that a film like this doesn't really have a future in the theaters anymore. You know, I think the theater experience has been conflated with big spectacle, but really the theater experience should be a communal experience, whether that communal experience has to do with laughing or being on the edge of your seat with suspense, or yes, maybe even enjoying and partaking a big visual spectacle. But we're not in that timeline anymore. And listen, if Netflix is the only way for these type of films to exist, then I'm all here for it. You know, the mid-budget, character-driven, original films. Overall, I thought Hitman was a very strong film, very creative, solid script, and a very engaging dark comedy filled with originality and soul. And so, yeah, for this film, I would easily give it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a solid watch, a strong film that I totally recommend watching for sure.
Mm-hmm. This is good.
Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you plan on seeing this movie on Netflix. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.